Hey everybody, this is Eric. We're going to be just taking a moment to facilitate a circle just to give you guys some ideas and then also show you the way that I would do it. Just a few quick reminders. This week the topic is integrity, and we really want to introduce to the students this idea of holding truth in high regard and helping them begin to think about what their lives would look like if they told the truth all the time, and if they rejected the opportunities to lie and became those kinds of people and lived like that for the rest of their lives. And I think it would change a lot of different things. You might hear some bells and stuff. I'm here at Pomona High utilizing my last 15 minutes to do this for you guys. So again, some other quick tips are we want to also make it a high energy live atmosphere. So when kids are coming in, remember, we're all about hugs, high fives, and we're high energy. We're smiling, laughing, making it a light environment where they know it's a good, positive place to be. And also carrying that throughout the time with the circle, even when students will challenge you, which will happen, as you most all have experienced already. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move along and act like I'm leading my circle. So I'm actually sitting in front of desks right now in a circle setting to give me that vibe. So hey everybody, welcome. Today's our circle and we're super excited to have you guys here. Like always, we want to remind you guys that On Point and this time is really to focus on yourselves, and it's meant to build your character. And we're always going to be talking about things in these settings that are challenging to talk about. We're going to ask you questions that are sometimes hard to answer, but we want you to stretch yourself, stretch your mind, stretch your hearts. We want to teach you and remind you the power of being vulnerable and being open with your life and honest. And then of course, we want you guys to begin to learn to trust us. And we know that that takes time, and we're ready for that process. However long it takes, we're going to be all in for you. So you guys understand, are we all on the same page? Okay, great. We're going to go ahead and move on. Today, we're going to be introducing the topic of integrity. And how many of you guys know what integrity is? Anybody know what integrity is? Okay. Well, integrity really just means being the kind of person who knows the right, knows the wrong, but chooses the right, right? Integrity means that you're a person who lives honestly, right? Or a good term is righteously. Living with integrity means that you're the kind of person who holds truth in high regard. That means that you value the truth and you fight for the truth and you tell the truth and live out the truth in your life. So how many of you guys feel like right now in your current condition, in your place of life, that you are people of integrity? Anybody in here feel like that? You do? You do? Okay, great. How many of you guys feel like you're not in the place right now where you value truth and you probably tell lies a lot and you're saying things or maybe even distorting things? Little lies, white lies are lies, remember. So how many of you guys feel like you don't hold integrity in high regard? You're not a person of integrity at this time. Okay, that's most of us. That's mostly all of us. Okay, and that's a deficiency in your character. And that's something that we're here to work with and to talk about. So what I want to do is I want to open up by just spending a time in journal. Our journal time really is a time of silence. It's a time of reflection. It's a time to kind of quiet yourself and unlock the inner voice that's happening in here and then allowing it to come onto paper. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pose a question. I'm going to put on some music, and I'm going to allow you guys to find a safe, comfortable space in our group here where you can go and write. Now I'm going to put a timer on for 5 minutes, and this 5-minute timer, the challenge is to continue to write throughout the entire 5 minutes, okay? Do we understand that, guys? So non-stop writing. I'm gonna roam around, our staff are gonna roam around and make sure that you're focused and that you're writing. So here's the question, Can you write about who is the most important person in your life? And a secondary question that I want you to answer is, who is a famous person in your life that you really look up to and why? So who's the most important person in your life and why do you look up to them right now, right? And then who is a famous person in your life that, or a famous person in your life that you look up to, that you aspire to be like, that you admire, right? And why do you look up to them? Why do you admire them? Okay, so it's two-part. I'm gonna put the timer on, I'm gonna play some music, and we're gonna get started, okay? Ready, set, go. Come on, guys. Everybody get writing. I want you to put your pen to pad. Start writing, start writing. At this point, I'd be roaming around. I'd be making sure everybody is engaged. And if they're not engaged, these are times where I'm going to be, challenging them and confronting them healthily and with love. And if for some reason they're just not, it's not working out and they're still kind of bucking the system, then these are times when I'm going to step outside and utilizing my other staff to have a good conversation with them. And then they would have to then earn their way back into the circle. So right now you're seeing our curriculum. The objective is to help students see that integrity is not something that is often exemplified in our world and society, but we want to begin to teach them to cherish the trait and to seek to grow into people who live honestly and right, especially when no one is looking. And that's something you're going to see when we get back to the table that I'm going to bring in. The topic, the definition was not clearly defined, and I'll have an opportunity to do that. But I did share that, it is in my transition here, I'm going to share that it is important to have integrity because it can have a great impact in your life. Eventually, I'm going to get to this question here, right? This is going to be our discussion question. As you can see, I did the starter exercise before I did the starter question. So you guys can be flexible and make your way around and work through these things as much as you want, okay? So let me go ahead and stop the screen sharing. Okay, so then I'd get back and I say, okay, everybody bring it back into the circle, bring it back into the circle. I'm super excited to hear what you guys wrote. And remember, during this time, you don't have to share, but at this point in the circle, man, I really want to challenge you to be the kind of people who are excited to share because we're building relationship. I want to know what's going on in your life. I want to know who's important to you. I want to get into your brain, hear your thoughts, be introduced to some of these people that I may not know, right? And the same for me, I'm going to share as well. So I'm going to lead off, and I always do that in my circles. I'm going to go ahead and lead off. These are the people that are most important to me and why. And this is a famous person that I admire and I look up to and why. So then everybody will go around and share, and it'll be kind of a silly, laughing, excited time because they're going to get to talk about important people and famous people. And then I'm going to say, hey, to close that activity, I'm going to say, how many of you guys would say that the people that you listed are people of integrity, people who seek to live life honestly and right? How many of you guys would say that the people you selected are those kinds of people? Most likely, they're going to say yes. Some of those famous people they may list are like ridiculously lame and totally not integral folk. And we'll point that out like, hey, dude, you see, you like that guy, but is he really the most integral person? No, I don't think so. So it'll be a good opportunity for them to see a glimpse into their life and their world and society and say, hey, are the people that I'm looking up to, are they even people of integrity? If not, then I need to switch gears here and start looking up to people of integrity. Then I'll start switching gears and I'll start talking about the importance of our topic. Well, today, the reason why we're bringing this topic up and this value of integrity, this characteristic trait, is because it is an important one to carry throughout your life, to live with. And it's important to be known as a person who lives honestly and who seeks to do right all the time. A lot of you guys as young people, you're always concerned about your reputation. And I think that will never go away, right? How many of you guys would love to have the reputation of being somebody who is deeply admired and respected because you're a person of truth and you really value honesty? How many of you guys want that reputation of being integral? Okay, yeah, of course. That's something we all want, right? And this is important because, number one, when you're an honest person and you always are seeking to do the right, you're going to see that the relationships that you're in, they're going to be so much more healthy because even when other people don't live this way, you choose to be a contrast to that kind of a lifestyle. So they get to see what it's like to live a healthy life and they get to experience a measure of healthiness. But then when you match yourself up with other integral people, then of course there's this richness in that relationship and that there's no deception or lying in that relationship. And those are the kinds of relationship that you want around you and that you want to be in. And then lastly, these are the kinds of people who leave amazing legacies. Like when I go on to be, and this life ends, you know, I want my children to remember me as an honest man and one who seeks to live right. I want my students who I lead to remember me as a good role model who was honest and integral. And I want everybody to remember me in that way, right? So we'll talk about how it's important. And then we'll switch gears. And then I'll say, one thing that I do know, though, is that as young people, you lie a lot. You lie a lot. A lot of us do. And that's a problem that we have. Right now in these years, it's a training ground for us to learn to work through these issues and these hangups, right? So lying may be a big deal for you. How many of you guys really would say that you're a bad liar? I mean, you lie, right? I remember in my youth, I lied to cover a lie, and then I forgot the original lie that I told, right? Sometimes I embellish things or I over-exaggerate things, which is a lie. Sometimes I withhold certain information, which is a lie. It's a half-truth, right? I mean, I have that issue, and I had it when I was a teen. So I think it's important for us to get in touch with, man, do we have this problem? If so, let's work on it, right? So one of the things we're going to do right now is play a little game, and this game is going to just be a little game of Jeopardy. I'm going to separate you into teams, and typically a group won't always look like this, but for this week, we're going to have a little bit of fun together, okay? And I'm going to have a series of categories, and you guys are going to select the category, and you're going to select the amount that you want, and I will ask you and your team a question. Of course, as you guys score, the person with the highest score, the team with the highest score will win. And then I'll go ahead and start that game. And the game is in your guys's curriculum. So you'll see here, as we move a little bit further, it says play a game of Jeopardy themed on integrity. The questions are highlighted, and there were ones that students have had struggled answering. The ones that are in bold, I don't know if you can see here, I bolded some of these because these are some that students had trouble answering. So you may want to switch them up. I spent some time selecting these questions, and maybe I was doing it in my era and not theirs. So you may want to go back and revisit, but all the answers to every category are here. So this is 100, this is 200, 300, 400, 500, right? In every category. There's 4 categories. We have a music category, sports category, justice for youth category, and famous people category, okay? And I think most of them are good, except I think the ones that need to be changed would either be the music and or the sports, where there are a few that are highlighted. And I think kids had a hard time doing those, as I've been using this for the last year and a half, okay? Now, at the end of the game, it's pretty much gonna be coming up about our time. And then what you wanna do is you wanna close by saying something like, almost every question surrounded a situation that involved a lack of integrity, right? These things brought forth consequences. One of them was impeachment from our former president. Another one was loss of life, death, harm, right? And we want to say that, man, it's super important to consider adopting this character trait and getting rid of these dishonest things that are in us and start valuing the truth, because if we don't, then there are always these grave consequences that come. And you can share at this time that you can share of situations in your life, or ask them to share of situations in their life where lying and being dishonest has caused significant consequence in their life, and where they did not always welcome those consequences, right? They were painful. They took away from opportunities and things. And the last thing here is, if you have enough time, maybe you can have an ending reflection or a journal entry where youth can define integrity in their own words. They can explain after the time with us why having integrity would be important. And then what we can do either as a group or they can do individually is we can list 5 benefits from telling the truth. So we're doing simple introductory of the theme. We're starting to talk about why it's important to be this way. And then as facilitators and mentors, we choose to live lives that play out these values so that they see it in us and they know what that's like. So one of the dopest sayings that I have is to speak the truth in love. So this will be times where I might even exercise it in the group, like, hey, young lady, you're being very disrespectful and you're like that kind of often. But I know deep down you're not really like that. And I need you to hang on in our group here because, you know, I want you to be here, right? That's speaking the truth in love, right? Sometimes it's like, can you get out of your bad attitude? Please, man, you're ruining my circle right now, girl. I need you to smile. Can you smile a little bit, right? Sometimes that's speaking the truth in love. And sometimes we need to model that at the end. So hopefully that was a good, quick intro. You don't have a video for this week. It's mostly conversationally based and game based. So I hope you guys have great circles. I will see you guys soon.